Hello and welcome to the next instalment. So I've already done an introduction, I've done the plan setup and the jig setup, which you can watch in previous videos. And today I'm going to start working on the front triangle. So that's going to be the top tube, down tube and the seat tube. I'm going to do a quick introduction about bamboo and then I'm going to start showing you how to create a mitre. And I'll go into more detail around that as we go. So the first step is to look at the bamboo. Firstly, let's look at bamboo. So it's not a traditional material and there are huge amounts of variety. There's over 1,500 different species. So it can get really confusing in terms of what works for a bike and what doesn't. The way we work is we've got two species that we use. We use a Moso and we use a Tonkin bamboo. And they're both quite lightweight, they're readily used bamboo and they're readily available. And that works really well for bikes. As mentioned, bamboo can be really confusing to pick. So here's a couple of rules. So if you're building at home, you're looking at bamboo, you're down at your local supplier, here's a couple of things to consider. And obviously you can research these in a lot more depth. First, okay, so look at how the bamboo was harvested. Was it harvested at the right time? So you want it to be harvested between 8 and 10 years of maturity. Was it dried well? Is it in good condition? So those kind of things you want to look for if it's been harvested, dried, and so on, and treated. So have a look at that, and you can obviously ask a supplier about those things and look at the conditions. The other thing, very basic, is when you're looking at the bamboo, what sort of condition is it in? Has it been knocked around? Has it been looked after? Is it split? Is it in poor condition? So just have a look at that. You don't want to get bamboo that's all split and it's all tapering, it's all variable diameters. So just look at each piece and look at the condition of the bamboo. So would you want to use it just by eye? Does it look good? The other thing to consider is bamboo will grow, 6 meters long. And over that 6 meters, the bamboo will vary, okay? So if it's near the bottom, the wall thickness will be a lot thicker. And if it's near the top, it will be thinner. So when you start to pick up bamboo and you feel different weights, you start to see different wall thicknesses. Try and determine where the bamboo was from in the plant, and that will help to guide you as to where to use it on the frame. So for example, if you've got the seat and you've got a lot of compression and you've got a lot of weight, have a look for a thicker walled piece of bamboo, and you'll notice on this one that I picked up, you can see it's thicker walled, nodes are closer together, that's from the bottom part of the plant. Again, you can apply this to bicycle logic. If you're building something for carrying, touring and so on, you can find thicker, bulkier pieces of bamboo depending where they fall in the plant. So have a look at those conditions and the different variation in the bamboo, and that gives you some sort of guide as to what you want for you. The other thing is just go really basic. What bicycle are you building? If you're building a mountain bike, racing bike, street bike, all the different variations of bikes are used for different things. So a mountain bike, you're going to be powering downhill, a lot of force going through the frame, so on. So you want a lot of dampening, and you don't want the bike to flex too much because it's got a longer wheelbase for stability and so on. So you want to go for larger diameter bamboo. If you're just using it as a single speed city get around, maybe use some smaller diameter bamboo because there's less force on the bamboo. So just use logic. And the best way to apply this is when you next go into a bike shop or you're at a bike rack where you're locking up your bike, have a look at all the different size of tubes and just see how different bicycle designers have applied different materials to bicycles and how the tube in diameter will vary from bike to bike. So that's something you can learn very quickly just by looking at bike. Okay, so the next step we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to start to create mitered joints. And what I'm going to do is show you two methods to create these. A mitered join basically joins the circles together, and it's a special cut. It's a type of cut that's used in all steel frame building, aluminium frame building, and then you would then weld the joint together. Rather than welding, we're going to use a composite to join, and we're going to wrap around the joints here. So we're going to build exactly as you would a traditional steel frame. I'm going to show you two methods for creating a mitre joint in this video. And then once we've done that and we've learned the basics of creating a mitre joint, we can then start to create all the front triangle. The two methods I'm going to show, one uses more equipment, one's a lot simpler. So it depends how much equipment you've got at home and how much investment you want to make. The first method is going to be super simple. For the first method, you're going to need the following tools. For sanding, or you could use your head tube. Some sandpaper. A cloth-based sandpaper is really useful. It's cheap to buy and really durable. A saw. I've got a Japanese saw, but you could use a mitered saw or whatever saw you've got to hand. Pencil, tape, and a knife's pretty useful. So these are the tools you need. Okay, the first step is take your bamboo and some masking tape and tape off a generous amount where you want to create the mitre joint. Then take your bamboo, and I'm just going to do the top tube, position where you want to position the bamboo. So ideally you've got the node in the middle and the joins will fall either end of the node. Okay, so that's the first step. So draw a line there. Saw through the bamboo, following the line. Take your sandpaper and wrap around the tube, and then sand the bamboo following the same angle as you just cut. And what you want to do is, once you've started to sand that, is continually test the fit and check your angle. So you can see I'm pretty close there. Okay. So I'll just continually sand that until I get a really nice fit, and then I can repeat that process for all the other joints. So that's method one, using sandpaper, a tube, and a saw. Method two, which we generally use in the workshop, is using a bit more equipment. So I'm going to need a drill and what's known as a tube notcher. Now you can buy really expensive tube notchers. This one's quite a simple one. You can buy them online for about $100, £70. And if you're building more than one frame, this is a really good idea because it speeds up the process. And I will explain now how to use this, and I'm going to demo a mitered cut using a tube notcher. Okay, so for the tube notcher, again use some masking tape. I use lots of masking tape. It protects the bamboo from splintering and so on while you work with it, similar to how you would work with any wood or other fibrous material. So again, mask off the area that you want to cut. And I'm going to mask a bit longer here so that we cover the cutter and the V-clamp. So mask off. The angle we've got on our drawing, so 104. So I'm going to set this up to 14, so it's the offset to 90. I'm going to simply make a mark where I think this will go. So through the middle of the centre line. And it will go into the V-clamp. And tighten that up. And simply then, I can cut this through. Once I've done that, I'll just clean up and open this joint a little bit. and then I can just offer that up to my tube, like so. Okay, so I've given you a guide of how to do a mitered connection. My next step is to build the front triangle. So I'm going to start with the down tube. First step is going to be working out where I'm going to put the tube. So I'm going to line this up. So I've got these tubes in a very similar place. So the nodes match up from the distance from the joint. I just think that's going to look nicer. It's going to spread the load down this connection here and down this connection here. So first step is mask up. So I'm going to match the angle of my tube notcher to 0 degrees. So it's the same angle as the bottom bracket. So that's going to be a perfect half circle, so it's all squared up. So I'll set this up and just adjust the angle on this machine.
So I'm going to match the angle of my tube notcher to 0 degrees. So it's the same angle as the bottom bracket. So it's going to be a perfect half circle, so it's all squared up. So I'll set this up and just adjust the angle on this machine.
Now that I've cut the bottom bracket, I'm now going to do the secondary cut on the down tube onto the head tube. So I'm going to line this up and then make a mark in the middle of the tube. The angle on this is going to be 31 as written on the drawing. If you wanted to measure that, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that now.
So just remove this from the cover, and then I can head into the vise and just trim this back.
Okay, so my down tube is now taking shape, and you can see I've started to get into position. I need to do a bit more refinement on it, but I'm going to work on the seat tube and the top tube, and they will be in the next video. That's all I've got time for this week. So hopefully that was useful. Short mitering guide, and we started to shape the front triangle. So I'm going to do the next video, I'm going to do super quick, do the front triangle, and then we'll start to work on the rear triangle. Thanks for tuning in. Do subscribe and follow us. It's great to have acknowledgement that people are watching. So any comments, any questions, please add them below. I really appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving up your time. And if you've got any bamboo related questions or front triangle questions, do ask away. Thanks for now.